What is going on YouTube and weight loss warriors? It's your boy C-Dub and I'm back with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about the different types of fasting like prolonged fasting and dry fasting, dirty fasting, and bring it all to you in one video, and I'm going to do it right after this. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy C-Dub. If you don't know who I am and it's your first time clicking on the channel, I lost 125 pounds using the OMAD method of intermittent fasting, and that is eating just one meal a day. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about the different kind of fasting, maybe talk a little bit about my experience in each one, how they relate to each other, and what we need to know about them. So let's just start off with a typical prolonged fasting. And to me, prolonged fasting means 48 or more hours, leaning towards maybe 72 hours. And so a prolonged fast basically means that you're only intaking water for an extended period of time. And those fasts can go from that 48-hour mark all the way into 10 days, a month, and in some cases beyond that. I know a good example of that right now, a lot of you may be aware of, is the Fasting Fat Man and his 150 days of going through a water fast. So you can do it on different levels, but first and foremost, before you start any fasting regimen, you definitely should talk to your doctor and make sure it's okay and make sure it's good. He was under medical supervision, and if you're going on a fast that's under 72 hours, I would say it's probably not a big deal, but anything beyond that, you want to make sure you've talked to your doctor. And really talk to your doctor even before the 72-hour fast. So ultimately speaking, that long-term prolonged fasting, some of the things that you can benefit from on that is it gives you an opportunity to heal some things that you would have not necessarily thought you would have. Your digestive system, a lot of other things get healed through the process, and a lot of people say that the inflammation problems and issues are greatly reduced during a fast like that. You can catch some fatigue. You definitely shouldn't, when you're doing like a prolonged fast, you definitely shouldn't do a whole lot of exercising during that time. Whereas if you're a daily faster and you're going through an intermittent fasting regimen, exercise is definitely recommended to do with intermittent fasting. When you're going on a long-term fast of over 72 hours, your energy levels aren't going to quite be what they would be if you were eating. You want to make sure you have the right amount of electrolytes, so you can do that through drinking smart water or adding some types of Himalayan pink salts or things like that into your water. You can quickly do a little bit of research to find out exactly what to add. There's definitely a lot of testimony about long-term fasting. For me, and any long-term advice or knowledge I want to know, a lot of times I'll turn to a healthy alternative. They did an interview with me. He does a lot of long-term fasting, had a lot of long-term fasting success stories. So that's a good place to start. And obviously the Fasting Fat Man is a guy that's done it for 150 days. He probably has more knowledge about a long-term fasting than anyone going on today. So I think prolonged fasting is definitely something that can heal you. Do I think prolonged fasting is necessarily good for weight loss? Of course you're going to lose weight if you're in a prolonged fast. Of course you're going to be able to take it to different levels that you normally would not be able to take it to in the process of not eating for such a long period of time. But you are going to regain a lot of weight on the refeeds. And if we're talking about your prolonged fasting and then refeeding and prolonged fasting and refeeding, I don't know if that's necessarily the best way, but it certainly can help with weight loss. I don't know that if you don't have a game plan after the fast is over with, though, you are going to probably regain everything you lost. So you have to have a game plan. Again, pointing back to the Fasting Fat Man, he went straight into OMAD. He's been doing OMAD since, and he did regain a little, but is losing still rapidly every day as we even speak now. So that is prolonged fasting. Dry fasting. Dry fasting is different, and dry fasting is something that you probably should not do in a long-term capacity. So what a dry fast is you're taking intake of no fluids whatsoever. So being able to do that for a long term is not realistic, because obviously water is the most important thing that our bodies run on. We're almost made completely of water. So by not giving yourself water for a long period of time, you are going to do some serious harm. But in the short term, it can be super successful. And you see, obviously, faiths like the Muslim community do dry fasting every single year for an entire month. and they're dry fasting for from sunrise to sunset, and then while it's dark they can have their fluids, and so they're doing a 12-hour dry fast. I did some dry fasting during my journey. I ended up dry fasting on Thursdays for probably about 6 months. And basically Wednesday night when I finished my last meal, I did not drink any fluids until Thursday at my next meal. And the thought process is that dry fasting heals you quicker, and it puts you into autophagy quicker, and it puts you into ketosis quicker. And all of that stuff is true. So adding a dry fast in here or there can definitely help you, but you should not go any more than a day on a dry fast, in my opinion. And then there is dirty fasting. And so dirty fasting is different. You can do prolonged dirty fasting, short dirty fasting. You can break it into however you want. But dirty fasting basically means that you're still sticking to 0 calories during your fast. You're still making yourself a window of not taking in any calories, but you're free to drink things like Zevias and Pepsi Maxes and Coke Zeros and those kind of things that are otherwise taboo, maybe chewing on sugar or free gum, doing things that don't break your fast but are not considered clean. So, do I think that, do we even need to put a dirty fasting terminology out there? I really don't think so. I think there's no difference between fasting and dirty fasting. Whatever you got to do to get through the process. And I know people that are watching this will disagree with that, and that's fine. You can disagree with that. I've done both. I think I lose weight on both of them. I think I feel just as good on both of them. You, on the other hand, may feel differently, and you may get a different feel when you're doing one versus the other. So to recap in my history of this, I've done a couple of prolonged fasts of 72 hours. I've never gone beyond that. I've never seen the need to go beyond that. When I started fasting, it was generally for weight loss. It wasn't for healing, although I've gotten some amazing healing benefits that I never even thought were possible. I am an advocate for it. I do think that long-term fasting can help you. I do think I'm not a medical professional, so I don't want to tell you to do it if you're having some medical issues. But I do know that it has helped a lot of people, and I think there are some channels out there that are dedicated to prolonged fasting, and again, a healthy alternative is a great place to start. And I think that if you want to go beyond 72 hours, you definitely need to have all your ducks in a row, all your research done, and make sure you have a medical professional supervising you, because you'd hate to be in a situation you didn't want to get yourself into. And then on the dry fasting, I believe that there is no better way to get into ketosis, a way to get into autophagy, a way to really kickstart your body to have to deal with its problems than to deprive it of water. It is definitely the most dangerous of the group. If you're going long term that way, it can go downhill really, really quick. Dehydration is no joke. But when you are depriving your body from water, it has to start breaking itself down to create water, and it's able to do that through many different scientific ways that I'm gonna refrain from getting into right now. But it does happen. Your body does create its own water, but it can only do that for so long and so much. And so you're playing with fire in that sense. But within 24 hours, it's okay. I would not dry fast and then have a day of non and dry fast and non. Anything like that. And even when we look at Ramadan and the Muslim faith, they are having roughly 9 hours a day that they can drink water, and they do drink it, and a lot of them will get up before sunrise to make sure they get water in before their day starts, and then once the sun goes down, they're drinking water again. So that's a way of managing it. If you're an OMAD person, having a meal and keep it on your standard diet and then breaking until the next day and dry fasting, for me, worked out really well. I think it could for you as well. It definitely will get you in healing a little bit faster, and of course it's going to kick you into ketosis and doing all those things. Again, exercising while dry fasting may not be the smartest thing, but if it's a short-term dry fast, exercising is perfectly fine. You're going to be able to get through it. And definitely if you end up with a bad headache or something going on wrong, break your dry fast for sure. So I hope that this overall brought back some idea as to the different types of fasting there. And it gives you an idea of what you might need to do or what you want to do if you're fasting in the future. Make sure, again, you check with a doctor. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me and always being a part of my channel. My face is going to pop up right over here. Make sure you click on it and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. If you need me, leave me a comment down below. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.